Happy Friday, everybody. Cinephile Mike is here, and it is day 70 of Oscar Rewind, my bi-weekly series of video commentary that reflect the work on this past year's Oscar nominees and winners. I dig deep into those IMDb profiles, and my hope is that you will discover a new, older favorite, or maybe revisit something you haven't seen in a while. As always, I'll be discussing the recent Oscar connection, awards history for the film, box office information, critical response, and as always, these reviews. Spoiler-free. Now, before we jump in, please do me a favor, click that button, subscribe to the channel. You definitely want to be a part of all the cinematic goodness coming your way right here. So, we are in the last month of Oscar Rewind for the season, and to close it out, I am talking about the remaining winners of this past year's Oscars. Moving forward, today I am discussing Bleecker Street's period drama, The World to Come. Written by Ron Hansen and Jim Shepard, based on Shepard's original story of the same name, and directed by Mona Fastvold, the film premiered at the Venice Film Festival in 2020 before being released in early winter 2021. Now, at the end of its run, which stretched into summer months in some international markets, the film made $116,143 domestically and added an additional $86,735 internationally for a current worldwide total of $205,878. Not much, but this was still almost a year coming out of the pandemic, so not a lot of people running out to the movie theaters, very limited. So this film was actually released on most digital rental platforms about 2 weeks after the initial theatrical release. Critically, the film was slightly mixed. Based on 148 reviews, the film has a critical score of 74% and a slightly lower 65% on the popcorn meter, culled from over 100 audience reviews. Award season-wise, at Venice, where the film premiered, Mona Fastvold won the Fan Heart 3 Award and the Queer Lion Award, and was a nominee for the Golden Lion for Best Picture. Star Vanessa Kirby was a British-Irish Actress of the Year by the London Critics Circle Film Awards. The other star, Katherine, won the Best Actress at the Stockholm Film Festival, which also nominated it for Best Film. And there were a handful of other nods and wins across varied other film festivals. So why is it here? Well, officially, the answer is for Daniel Blumberg, who won his first Oscar off his first nomination this past year for the score of The Brutalist. Now, the sort of half reason why we're here, there's another connection. Mona Fastvold, who directed this film, was a nominee for Best Producer for The Brutalist. I talked about her a little bit earlier this season in Rewind, but now we are looking at those that won. So, Blumberg, this one is all for you, if you're watching. So, The World to Come is a touching love story set in the mid-19th century in Schoharie County, New York. Abigail, played by Katherine Waterston, and Dyer, played by Casey Affleck, are a couple who live the quiet life of farmers on a patch of land. Now, they suffer tragedy when their young daughter dies of diphtheria, and this causes a rift between them. They are kind to one another, but Dyer wonders, does his wife actually love him? Losing their child really had an impact on both of them, and they haven't quite figured out how to move on. Then one day, a new couple moves in, renting a nearby farm. This couple is Finney, played by Christopher Abbott, and his wife Tali, played by Vanessa Kirby. When the women see each other, there seems to be some kind of a connection between them. Shortly after, Tali pays a visit to Abigail at her home, and the two women just strike up a friendly conversation. Abigail, as they get to know one another over the course of days, Tali keeps coming to visit. Abigail shares the challenges of her marriage and explains that, while there's some affection, theirs was a marriage based on need and practicality. While Tali explains that her marriage to Finney is not as solid as you might want to think or believe. Finney is not, that much of a firm person. He's constantly trying to control his wife. He's very confrontational. He's constantly quoting the Bible, telling Tali about all of the wifely duties that she is not performing. And, whenever these two women can get away from their husbands, they really enjoy one another's company in more ways than one. Now, although Tali said that she says in the film, if we make ourselves happy by succumbing to our desires, then we are going to be making our husbands happy because we will be doing more things. And this is the rationale that they have to put their coupleship together. But is life ever that easy or straightforward? Now, while Dyer is suffering a bit more in the silence over the loss of their daughter and believing that his wife doesn't fully care for him anymore, Finney is more, quoting that Bible and everything that's going on. Now, one day, after Abigail hasn't seen or heard from Tali in several days, she goes and finds that Finney and Tali's home is completely ransacked and empty, save one tragic clue, which causes Abigail to seek out information, and she says that she will do whatever she can to find her love despite the pain that it causes to others. This really is a beautiful story about two souls who find peace in one another. And Waterston and Kirby radiate a very special heat to make this period drama work. Each has very, expressive eyes that blazon through the camera when they are talking together on screen or when we have a close-up of their face as they're engaged in the conversation. I mean, you really root for this couple from the first second you meet them. Kirby, particularly with her intense stare and her voice that's a little more, grounded, is really amazingly captivating. The performances by these two elevate here's my major ding, a predictable script that at times felt a little too drawn out, which is kind of odd to say, because the film is less than 100 minutes. It's about 95 minutes. But there were just pockets that felt like The Brutalist really, really long. But here's what I will say. Fastvold, it's in her second feature film here. She does tell this story against a beautiful backdrop. You can tell there was some solid work with her cinematographer, André Chemetoff. He really captures the beauty of the land, and also the vastness really reflects the emptiness that these characters are feeling. And Blumberg's score, especially in those moments of passion between Waterston and Kirby, is so expertly orchestrated, I have to say. The weaker links in the chain, Affleck, Abbott, but it's not that they're bad. It's just that their characters are painted in such a light that, unfortunately, it causes them to be a little bit one note. And again, with a predictable script, it doesn't work. I mean, from the first glance that, Vanessa Kirby's character throws to Waterston, you know exactly where this film is going to be going. And there's a dinner scene with Abbott where you kind of see how certain fates are projected right in front of you. Yeah, I would say that that's my major ding with the movie. I saw where it was going the whole time, so I didn't really get to enjoy going on the journey as much. Despite the incredible visuals, despite the incredibly talented cast. About the cast, there's one piece of the story that I actually like. Because it chronicles so much time, we are constantly treated to narration dates and voiceovers of journal entries written by Waterston's character. So that really does help to move the plot along. Otherwise, this film could have easily been over 2.5 hours, and I don't think that it would have been any good to go see. But again, I'm kind of torn. We don't often see LGBTQ films that are set in this part of American history, so it's interesting to take a look at. For me, The World to Come, it's a 3-star film. It showed promise, but it fell by the wayside in execution. But as a Kirby fan, she was on screen, so I wanted to watch this one. I was so happy to. If you would like to catch The World to Come, if you haven't seen this one before, it is currently streaming for free, with ads, on Pluto TV and on Tubi. So those are your 2 streaming options. All right, so that's where we are going to leave it for today. As always, if you like what you heard here, please subscribe to the channel, like and share the video. Spread the word, drop me a comment. You never know, I might respond to you. You can follow me, Cinephile Mike, on all social media platforms and on Letterboxd, and find lots of great additional content on my website, cinephilemike.com. All right. Happy watching, everyone. And until next time, this is Cinephile Mike saying take a break and watch something new.